Left Wing Kingz. Listen, think, act, repeat.
Police across the country are struggling to recruit and retain police officers. So the shortage is having a real impact on society as a whole. We're seeing increases in crime rates across the country. It's crazy. You've seen the rob mobs and all kind of stuff out there.
Yeah.
And it's a complex issue that we got to deal with, and it's having a wide range of impacts. So, Walanda, can you give us your perspective on, the law enforcement shortage, especially how it's impacting schools?
Right. So I'll go through as far as I made a little list here as far as why. Before that, and I'll tell some personal as far as how is it actually impacting schools and just our normal daily lives. So first, obviously, we have a recruitment challenge. There's a struggle to attract and retain qualified. So a lot of them just kind of like teachers, they're getting up in age and they're retiring, and people are just not attracted, right, to the police force at this time. So you also got retirement and attrition, right? Officers retire, they leave after, can't replace them. So then you have newer officers and less experience. Less experience can, obviously, with any type of situation, it's just not good, especially in law enforcement. You really want experienced officers. There's budget constraints. So lack of funding. They keep talking about back to blue. Well, officers don't get paid a lot of money, depending on what type of officer they are. But right now they're starting at 20. I think it went from 28,000 to 74,000. And so, 20. Can you imagine 28,000? I don't.
Is that the range across the country?
That's the range across the country. 28, and just alone in Texas, it ain't very high. Increased demands. So you got wide ranges from now. So now we talk about public safety, right? So you guys already know about the schools, and now legally you have to have an officer at a campus. You have to have one all day long. That's a lot of officers. There's a lot of schools, right? And so that is restraint there. And then they now have to go in, you got somebody trying to blow up a school or shoot somebody, and they have to know, I'm going to put my life on the line. So when I take this job, I'm prepared to die, because that does happen. That's real talk. Negative public perceptions. So a lot of them don't want to go and serve because they feel like, they were even trying to talk about changing their uniforms because they feel like it has this like negative connotation to it. When people see the uniform, they think negative thoughts. So now they're thinking about trying to wear like normal daily clothes. But I was like, well, how do you, separate yourselves? But something a little bit more, appealing to them, because now they're saying the uniform itself has some type of negative perception, and just burnout and stress. They're stressed. I can't imagine going to my job every day knowing that, hey, I'm here to protect and serve, and, I may not go home to my family. So those are pretty much the biggest challenges there. With the school system, again, shout out to all my officers, because it's been a really good thing, but it's very difficult for them. They're now having to serve in different, at least with my district, serve different campuses in a certain amount of time, which sometimes can create where they don't have that relationship they want to have, which they're trying to increase that by saying going to the different schools will increase it. But, it's been real impactful. It's been really sad. Definitely. You can see the stress in their face every day. And it's hard because there's nothing really I can do per se. When you get to vote, which I don't think there's anything about propositions for officers right now. So when people say that, certain parties are supporting them, I don't know about that. I don't know. It's sad.
So I know that in your district, they're doing like
the safety officers?
Yeah, safety officer. And then they have like your officer don't stay at your school. Like he rotates, and what's going on with all of that? So
they rotate every 30 days right now on there. And I don't want to, just for safety purposes, tell too much information. But just know that you'll see different officers on our campuses. But now we have a safety officer where they're coming in. I don't have the background on that, but they get a lot of training and stuff. So they're able to be armed on your campus. And I want to say the age is 21 years old.
But they're not police.
They're not police. It's a safety officer. And so they're here to like check our doors. They're supposed to be the ones to, again, same thing. Like if there's something were happening, they run to that situation kind of thing. But it's a little bit separate. They don't really interact with the kids and anything like that. They're pretty much like outskirts, make sure that you're safe on campus, doors are locked and things of that nature, because there's such a shortage of police officers. So now we're looking at utilizing safety officers.
And what's that pay range for the safety officer?
It was hourly range, but I think it was like 20 something. But they're talking about using like people who are retired officers or military, you know what I mean? So older gentlemen, that's kind of like they're I don't have to work, but I want to help out schools kind of thing. That's who I think they really are attracting is our military, our retired military. And
So you brought up a point about pay, and you know, 28,000 to 70 something thousand is the national average. There's a lot of jobs out there that make more money than that.
Yeah.
right.
And to your point, you just said they gonna train these people how to run to the gunfire.
Yeah.
Not something that the police don't want to do. Okay, you gonna train this guy
Yeah.
to run straight to the action
Right.
for $28,000 or
$20
less,
a damn hour.
$20 an hour, bro. Like the pay that
You can work in a damn
you're getting is not commensurate to the risk involved
Right.
in the job that you're doing, man. And to me, that's one of the reasons. Like you brought it up already, but that's a big reason, man. Why would you want to get into a field that you're putting your life at risk every day? Every day you walk out the door, you might not come back, and you getting chump change. I wouldn't do that for anything. Even when I was in the military, I was a crypto linguist. I wasn't nowhere near the action. Okay, I'm not getting a paycheck to go out there and pull out a rifle and fight. But then the other part of that I didn't hear you say that I think is important is there's a lot of scrutiny with being a police officer
What's
now.
that? Yeah, negative perception.
Okay, I didn't hear that.
Yeah,
So
negative
like,
perception.
all of the misconduct, all of the brutality, all the things that police are getting in trouble for, and just the way that they look at them and the mistakes you can make. I truly believe that some of these officers out here, they have fear that something's going to happen to them, and they step over the line and do some things they shouldn't do. There are some who are also like just prejudiced and a-holes, and they're just going to act bad. They're bad actors who do things on purpose with malintent. But like the lady that pulled out her gun instead of her taser, I know it don't make no damn sense. A gun's black and a taser's yellow, okay? But I don't think she did that on purpose. I don't think she meant to shoot that guy. You know what I mean? I think there are things that are just happening because there's too much risk out there. Like public does not trust a police officer, especially if you black. You ain't got no trust for no policeman. And I'm sorry to say it, in a lot of circles, policemen are looked at in a good way because they do a lot of good things. But in the black community, for the most part, we don't see the police as like a positive influence or a positive impact out there.
Yeah, I mean, in some neighborhoods, man, I mean, the police only come around when horrible things are happening. But even when they come, the way they address that is kind of, you're guilty until you're proven innocent. You know, I think that kind of frustrates people on the political agenda. You see all these people, committing crimes and they ain't going to jail, and black people are like, what?
Right.
They can do that? Because usually they think I do a crime, I go to jail.
Yep.
Then I might get out if they figure out I didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? But they're going to hold me for a long time. And that's not only black, that's socioeconomical because it's, depends on, what kind of money you're making, But, my neighborhood, nobody want to be a policeman. That wasn't, nobody wrote that down. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want that job. And I'm not knocking what policemen do as a job. I mean, it's funny because my father was in law enforcement. He retired from that. So, so I guess I come from a law enforcement family, but I wasn't trying to do what he does. He ran the prison systems and stuff like that, but that wasn't something I looked at I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? And to this day, I'm not encouraging my sons to go join the police force. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah. It's a tough job, and I respect what they do. I really do.
Definitely.
Understand. But I've had situations and incidents where I don't respect what they do. You know what I'm saying? And it's the way I've been personally handled. So that falls into the history of the police. They were the guys that, back in the slavery days ran down slaves, and they decided, hey, let's get together, and now you guys are police. You know what I'm saying? And that's just being real short with it, but that's where it comes from. So on the black standpoint, they've just been oppressive to us, or the oppression tool used to us up to this day, still being used like that. And that comes to that negative connotation, why people don't want to do that. And there's a lot of black police officers out there that do great jobs and got over there, but from that community, that's part of it. Well, I mean, even if you go with any community, it's just, let's look at it on the flip side. You're a white police officer and you want to be it. Now you're afraid if you get out of line, you can get sued, or you could even go to prison. Right. Because if a situation that you do gets publicized and thrown out of hand, you facing some time. So why do I want to put myself into that risk? Right. You know what I mean? So
That's huge.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that look at social media. If you go to TikTok right now, YouTube, whatever, Facebook, IG, you can start scrolling through reels or whatever. Tell me you ain't gonna see like a policeman doing something bad in a reel.
Yeah.
Or like social media, your phone. Like once we got our own cameras,
it was a wrap.
it's a wrap. People don't want to be police because now, first of all, police got too much leeway. I'm pretty sure they have processes, procedures, and rules that they're supposed to follow. But when they're out there in them streets, they ain't following all them rules all the time. They have a lot of leeway to do whatever they need to do based on the situation. And I understand that. Every situation is not the same, and you got to be able to flex and do what you need to do. But now, I could pull out my phone and be like,
yeah.
And next thing you know, I'm sending this, I'm putting it on social media, I'm sending it to your boss, I'm doing all this, and now you done lost your job. Or to your point, you could go to jail.
Yeah.
And that, to me, is a huge piece of why police, the law enforcement shortage is out there. People don't want to be that guy on the reels that's, doing some fucked up shit to somebody and losing their job and going to prison and losing a family.
Yeah.
That's too much.
And I mean, and it's some, and let's not get it twisted. There's some real criminals out there.
Yeah.
And I know sometimes the police are put in situations where they have to, act like the criminals, I guess. I don't know, or try to get to their level, whatever you want to call it. I don't know how that policy goes. I'm not in the police force. But I do understand that, as much as we like the Superman attitude policeman out there that does everything right, I know sometimes getting down in the dirt with some of these criminals, you're going to get there. I think your problem is you don't know who the criminals are.
True.
And especially in my neighborhood, like I got put hands and knees, color style in my neighborhood, and I was in college. You know what I'm saying? But they didn't take time to ask me that or whatever. I was just another black face out there. You know what I'm saying? So it's something missing in the training and their history to where, like, that's not done right. So there's just negativity all over the place. Like I said, I've never had a police pull behind me and be like, hey, you know what I'm saying? This is a good thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm always going in into like, oh, let me hope I come out of this alive. You know what I'm saying? And I don't have to go to jail. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's the way I think of it. You know what I'm saying? Only time I'm like happy to see the police is some real something's going down, like guns is coming out or something. Okay, now we need the police. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because now, somebody's being real reckless. So
See, I ain't never been in no situation like that. I know you was at the IHOP a while back and when all that went down. But the only time I'm happy to see a policeman is if we like at an event and they just there, just, standing there on guard or whatever.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if I see a police, it's because they came to something, because something happened. And like you said, I'm just a black face. So at that point, they just gonna look at me like I'm a criminal because they don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, well, just addressing the shortages, I went over some. And just like Adrian said, recruiting and training. Like, I don't know what kind of training they have. Like, what actual training? Like, and you know what? I'm probably going to ask my officers, like, what type of training do you actually have before you become an officer? Like, how many hours of, I don't know, what type of school? Because we all know they only need a high school diploma.
An annual refresher training.
Right. Like, how many hours? Because teachers have to have so many hours. Like, what does that look like? So they were saying they need to have comprehensive training. I would like to know, what does that look like? The other one was community policing. They're saying that you got to have better community relations. And I guess being out there is the only way they can do it. But then y'all saying y'all don't want them out here. So I don't know what they're supposed to do, because they need to be out there with the community. But I guess it's the type of interactions that people are having with them. See, I only have good experiences. But again, I work at a school. So I have a different outlook. And
ask your students what they think about the officers.
I will. Well, actually, one of my officers, they love
because they'll tell you something totally different than how you feel about it.
Right. Well, and they might seem negative, because when I call one, they're like, oh, I'm in trouble. You know what I'm saying? If I call you over there, there's a problem. You know what I mean? So I wonder if that's how they have that negative. I don't know. You're right. Like, I don't know what the feedback would be. My younger ones is different. They love everybody. But the older ones in high school, they're probably like, what? You call him? I don't want none. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's a different feel to it. So.
Well, I think school police guy or officer and street police officers, two different guys. If I'm school police
Right.
guy,
Is that different?
clean
Right.
uniform, I'm drinking
Right.
coffee,
Right.
chilling, you know what I'm saying?
Different
like
experience.
walking around patting kids on their head, telling
Yeah.
people to stay in school. But the street police guy ain't that
It's
guy.
different.
Ask
You know what I'm
the
saying?
ask the school officer if he feel like that's his job. Because to her point, what I
in
be
high
hearing,
school, it's different.
they be
Yeah.
hemming people up. And
I didn't say they hem them up,
Yeah,
but
they do.
Well, I mean,
But if
I'm
I
saying,
got a
but-
problem, they coming. They coming.
they gonna hem you up.
but school police guys, still even in the high school situation, ain't
Yeah.
like
Nah, he ain't like the
that dude rolling up
Patrol
to,
guy,
to the
yeah.
trap. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right,
that dude got
okay.
a whole
Yeah,
different
no
outlook
doubt.
of his
Yeah.
job.
No
You know what
doubt.
I'm saying?
Every day, he like, I can handle these little kids every day.
Yeah,
like,
like, the
every patrolman's
and
like,
then,
I might die today.
So you're saying patrol? So okay, so that's true. So you have different type of police officers. So you
Yeah.
guys,
So the guy you meeting, of course you got different
Yeah.
respect for that.
Yeah.
Dude's
You're
happy
like,
to
how
be
can
at
you
work.
not like
Yeah,
him?
you know,
clocking in the
He
clock,
like, I
get
can
off
beat up
at
these
5.
kids all day.
They don't get off at 5.
He get off
Okay.
at 5.
I get off at 5:30.
They do not get off 5:30.
Hit the police ball up. You know what I'm saying? You know they got their own bar.
I'm smacking these little kids around.
They do not.
My man
They
just
work
riding around
hard.
3 a.m. at night, picking up hookers. His
Yeah,
job
you
is
know, he
completely
ain't doing
different.
that.
Yeah.
Well, they also said mental health support. And I was thinking that, I was like, okay, so if our officers need mental health support, I'm a little concerned because you can't be, you know what
So
I
are
mean?
those
If they-
things that will help, like,
They supposed to be helping
to help to stop the shortage?
Yes, because they're
Okay.
saying that officers, I mean, you know what? I take it back because they have a lot of stress. So who are they talking to? So when they have stress, who they dealing with? You know what I mean? Because every day, like your street police officers, I'm sure they see a lot of things too, right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
they have
Trauma.
experiences. Are you taking care of your trauma though? Are you just every day wake up and just continue on your day? You probably need to be speaking to somebody. They probably need to provide some type of support. And it sounds like they're
And they
not.
probably don't. And like I said, like with the training that you talked about, they need like not only training, but they need to be having annual refresher training.
Right.
Same thing with that. If you're gonna have some type of I don't know, psychological evaluation or just a therapy session, that should be quarterly or annual
Right.
or something. It shouldn't just be like, oh, we gave you a therapy session last year. Nah, nigga, I need
No.
one every 3 to 6
right
months.
every so many weeks.
Yeah.
Policy reform, and then we have like collaborative solutions. You know, like who are they, collaborating with as far as other organizations? You know, they need to be speaking to people. And again, there are different, I guess your interactions with people could be dependent upon like cultural, and then knowing the history, right, behind that. So I don't know what type of trainings they have, but maybe they have some cultural awareness. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, when you're going in this particular type of community, how you should be talking to people, how you
Yeah.
interact with them,
I
and
think-
doing that daily, not just coming up on a negative, not just when somebody's shooting. Like you should be out there every day. Like, hey,
Yeah.
it's Saturday, let's go out there and I don't know, shoot some hoops with the kid. I don't know.
Like you talk about
You
like
know?
the 1940s and 1950s police
Yes.
officer.
Well-
How you doing, Officer O'Houlihan? You know,
But
he's
that's
walking down the street
important.
with his little thing.
Yeah.
You know, hi Johnny. He knows everybody in the neighborhood.
I love Walanda's world, man. It's
Yeah,
all,
you know what I'm
It
saying?
is.
it's all cotton
Rainbows
candy
and-
Yeah, you know
and
what I'm saying?
unicorns and
Yes.
shit.
You know what I'm saying? I love it too. It keeps me happy. But at the end of the
Police
day,
come out juggling. And shit.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Thank you.
they got a clown nose on doing magic tricks.
the Care Bears really exist. You know what I'm saying?
That is so true.
Oh,
The
no.
Sunshine Bear. Yes.
But hey,
that's what I
but
am.
at
Okay,
the end
but
of the
I
day,
really feel
to
like-
me, like this is an important topic, man, because we got to get our law enforcement beefed up. There's
It's
no
bad
way.
now.
And to be truthful with you, like my main thought, I think the main issue, like I said, I think it's because of the fact that we have technology now that can see some of the things that the policemen are doing that we couldn't see before.
Yeah.
And it's shining a light on some of their activities. And now, is it as it's not as lucrative of a job? And it also, I'm sorry to say, but I think there's some people who just have power trips. And they're like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to go out there and do this job. I got a power trip, but I don't want this job because I might go to jail because I know how I am. I'm an actual fool out here with these people because I have this authority issue that I have. And so now they don't want to do the job because they don't want to get caught on camera. Like candid camera is
Yeah.
out there every day now.
Yeah, and these policemen had to turn their body cams off you wrong. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, because they got people to do that.
They
So,
do.
I mean, yeah, it's a hard job.
Hell
It's
yeah.
hard and it's tough.
I wouldn't want to do it.
I commend the guys that do it, just like I commend the guys that go to the military and serve the whole thing. I know it's hard, and I know it's somewhat of a calling. It's something that you're gonna want to do because you got to get out there and you got to put up with some terrible things that people do to each other. You know what I'm saying? But it's got to be a better way to do it. You know what I mean? A better way to do it, and that doesn't always fall down on the individual policeman. Some of them like you said, on a power trip, they get into it for the wrong reasons, and they just get the thrill of being able to go out there and knock somebody in the head, and that's wrong. I say, but it's some people out there that are really trying to generally do the job, and they do it because they got love for people and they got love for the community. And I don't know what the system has to do, but they got to do a better job of training them. Definitely a better job of recruiting them, and they got to pay them more than the people can get paid working at a call center. Like, come on, man, $28,000.
Right. I do argue because the requirements. So I looked at the requirements, and this is just holistic. Not to Texas, but you need a high school diploma, right? 18 to 21 years old, depending on the department that you have to be. U.S. citizenship, clean criminal record. Physical fitness, psychological evaluation. Not sure what that looks like.
They got me there.
Right. Background
fitness
check.
part.
The physical fitness. Drug screening.
I ain't in shape.
And then they have some written type of oral examinations. But again, I think if they required them maybe to have some type of, I don't know if you need a college degree or something, but maybe higher education than a high school.
Nope.
You don't think so?
Why would you? Okay.
Cultural certification.
I will tell you what,
like certifications.
that maybe, but I'm gonna put it to you like this,
pay-wise.
man. I'm gonna put it to you like this. I don't think that an individual, and maybe I'm wrong, who starts off and decides to go to college has a goal to become a police officer. They probably have a goal to become like a lawyer or a detective, or something like that.
You have to be a police officer first.
Yes, you do, but I'm just saying this is their goal.
Right.
They could go in, because there are some people who go to college and they become police, but then they're like, I want to become a detective. I ain't just trying to be those people who you just said, like those criteria, they're not gonna, like, once you 18 to 21, I'm like, if you go to college, you're like, shit, why do I want to be getting this paid? Yeah, I ain't want that shit. I'm gonna get me another job. That's kind of like the point. Like, there's other jobs out there if you're looking for pay. Now, to Steve's point, Steve made a point online, and he said, let's see. He said, I think it goes down to what Adrian said. People choose a career for a reason. It's not a high-paying job, then choose it for the status. Like, so some people want to be a policeman because they really, really want to support their community. They want to be a policeman.
Yeah.
They want to catch criminals, right? Or they want to be criminal. I don't know. But but at the end of the day, I'm just playing. But at the end of the day, like, there's something in it. There are a lot of people, like, for the military. I joined the military because I flunked out of college. Some people join the military because they want to protect their country.
Yeah.
Right? People have different goals for doing the things that they do.
And I was thinking about also, I mean, if you look at somebody who becomes a fireman, you know what I'm saying? Somebody becomes a fireman. A lot of times that's because, I mean, they want to help people and be a fireman. You know what I'm saying? That's what they want to do, especially up on the East Coast. I mean, you got people that their families dedicate their lives to.
Yeah.
They're not only a fireman, but their dad was a fireman and their son was a fireman. And
legacy.
That's what they do. And they do that somewhat with the police
military
force
too.
also.
Some people do that for the military. It's a
Police
legacy.
force, yeah.
But what's crazy too is when you said fireman, I will say this. They now sometimes say call a fireman before you call a police officer. They say call a fireman. You ain't hearing about firemen hurting you, which is true though. And they have actually, I mean, don't carry a gun, but they do a lot of the same things.
Somebody breaking into my house, I ain't calling no fireman.
I know, but I just say they say call.
Bring your axe, bruh.
They
going
might.
down.
It's going down,
Might.
please.
They strong, I promise.
Now, Peter made a great point. He said, I think right now that to be a police officer in the UK, you have to have a degree.
See? And I wonder if they act different. I wonder if they have the same. Okay, I know that sometimes social media and just the media in general puts out all the negative. You know, you got police officers doing some really bad things. And again, there's a lot of police officers that I see doing great things. So I wonder in the UK if they have the same type of issues with like police brutality. You know, I would like to look at their statistics on that. And I'm not saying a college degree puts you in a different mindset, but for some of these people, I don't know, they have certain classes that would, you know, gear themselves like cultural awareness or something. I don't know what they take. Psychological classes. I don't know.
I just think you got to have somebody who's just genuinely a good person. I don't think even college degree guys.
That's true. Because you don't got to be, you got to be a good person inside.
I don't want to be policeman. You know what I'm saying? And they got 3-4 degrees.
Exactly.
You do have to be a good person. I do. And I think some people, they go the wrong route and they're not maybe where they should be.
I mean, sometimes education is good, but I think in this situation, I don't think it's an educational thing. I mean, you can train the hell out of people. Don't mean they're going to absorb the training. You know,
True. Right.
you just got to. I think it's almost on a moral thing. Like you got to get people
Psychological training
But
or
see,
something.
better morals.
Encompass.
You know,
But see, here's the thing, man. I think this goes back to a post that I made earlier. It's like you educate people who you want to be able to know, like, and be innovative and do things. You train people who you want to control.
True.
Like there's
Training
a
is
big
control.
difference
That's true.
between education and giving someone a knowledge that they can do shit with.
Critical thing.
Training, you like, you do this, you do this, you do it. You put this, you turn this knob on this screw in this bolt. That's you've been trained. Get out there and do that. Turn this knob on this bolt. You can train these motherfuckers all day, but they need to be educated, right, on the right way to do things, and then they need to be able to be given some type of autonomy to do what's right. But you got to pick the right people. To both of your point, like there's people out there who just have bad intentions.
yeah.
There's people who have good intention. How can you find the right people for the mix of the job?
Psychological tests. Lots of testing.